What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Free Agent Real Estate Investing Podcast. My name is Stratton Brown.
My name is Michael Butler, man. Thank you guys for tuning in with us.
Some quick housekeeping things. If you guys are looking for professionally trained cold callers, go to callmagicians.com and set up a strategy session to see if we qualify to work with each other. Sometimes it makes sense for us to work with you, sometimes it doesn't. And if you guys are looking for the best data in the country, please go to rocketskiptracing.com. And Michael, do you have your prop stream link yet?
I do got my prop stream link. So if you guys are looking to be able to comp your properties, pull lists, all those great things, get the essential or the comparative comparable, of having like an MLS type access for an investor, go ahead and reach out to me. I'll shoot you my link so you guys can get the 7-day free trial on PropStream.
Awesome. What's going on, Savannah?
What's up, Van?
Oh, I don't know her.
That's my sister-in-law. Hey, so if you guys can do us a favor, as just like Savannah did, go ahead and give StreamYard access to your platform. So when you guys do comment or leave questions, we're able to see exactly who it is and not just Facebook user.
Okay. So, and again, as you guys are coming in, please comment, tell us where you're from. This is a live show, so we'd love to hear from you, interact with you guys, and any questions you have, feel free to ask them. This is more of a, what's it called? It's an open show, right? To where we want to talk about a couple of things, but we're here to help you guys out. We'll start off, bro. How has your week gone? You 3 contracts this week?
What's up?
3 contracts this week?
Yeah, I think so. It was two wholesale contracts and one Airbnb arbitrage contract. Yeah.
Let's talk about that Airbnb.
Let's talk about it, man. It was as you know, I have a cold caller through Call Magicians, and then I also have a commission-based cold caller. And so the week's been hectic in the sense of just leads coming in, because right now I'm lead managing, right? And so a lead came in, and it really wasn't, I'm reading it, man. The guy was, or the seller was asking for, more than retail, right? He said he was listed on the market. And so I'm looking at this lead, and I'm like, oh man, this is horrible. Like, how am I even getting it? Seller's like, hey, if it doesn't work as a listing, or, if I'm not able to sell it, I'm going to go ahead and, I've heard about Airbnb. I'm thinking about doing Airbnb. And so I'm just like, man, it's a pretty crappy lead, dude. Like, you know what I mean? So, but I'm like, whatever, dude's talking about Airbnb. I'm gonna call him and see kind of what he knows about it and kind of see what his plans was. So that's what I did. I picked up the phone, called him, and he was like, oh man, I just talked to, your caller. He's like, you got it pretty fast, right? And so I'm talking about, I'm like, hey, so, he mentioned here that you were interested in possibly doing Airbnb if you're not able to get it sold. What are your plans with that? Like, do you currently have any, or, things like that? And he's like, no, but I got some buddies who's been pretty successful doing it in like Atlanta, because they stay more in the metro area, and just some other places. So it had spiked his interest. And again, he owned these homes free and clear. He has 10 of them down in Tower. So it was one of those things where it was just like, okay. And so I said, I also have one. I said, why not just rent it back out? He was like, well, I had it rented. Last minute, it kind of came available because of COVID. People couldn't afford it and stuff like that, so they moved out. He's like, it's been vacant since November. I said, will you mind if I take a look at the house? Another thing that I've done before is that I could potentially rent it from you and then sublease it through Airbnb, so you can get an idea of kind of what it looks like. I can pretty much go ahead, stage it, do all those things. Only thing that I ask is that you allow me to be in it for a year, just because that's what we're going to need to at least be able to recoup our initial investment. And then as we continue to talk, he really had no interest on running an Airbnb. He was just like, well, if you want to rent it and you want to do it, I hope you make a whole lot of money doing it. He's like, I'm more hands off. He's like, I don't even want to, deal with it. And so at that point, it just became a slam dunk, dog. Like we just continued to talk about it. He got excited about it. me and my wife, we got excited about it. At the same time, overwhelmed because it was like, again, these opportunities kind of just come, from left field. So that's what we did, and we pretty much did our rental agreement and our arbitrage contract with them yesterday.
That's dope. What do the numbers look like?
Numbers are good, man. So we'll be renting it. We'll be renting it for $1,600.
How big is it?
I'm sorry.
3-2.
It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but 1,900 square feet.
Oh.
So that was the big thing about it. So it's a bedroom smaller than our first one, but it's almost like 300 or 400 square feet bigger than our other one. And so that's what made it a little bit overwhelming, because if you guys are familiar with Tower District here in Fresno, they're older homes. And so I think the misconception, and even what, Kyle Stanley, what he had told me about, because our first one was more of a new build.
Yeah.
And so going into this, it was like, okay, man, like when you're an investor, all you look at it is like, man, we, do this, do that. You think about everything you can fix. And so it took, again, me paying, me and my wife were paying for coaching. And so that was a great thing about having that coaching with Kyle, is that he showed me some of the properties that he had that didn't necessarily have to be new, and so it actually helped with my conversation with the homeowner, because he was almost downplaying the property. He's like, don't mind it. And I'm like, no, like, like this is Tower District, it has character to it. Like, this is the character that people expect when they come into Tower. They like the hardwood floors. They like the crown molded, like that element to it is what people are going to love about it.
Exactly.
It's going to be up to us to go ahead and furnish it and put the nice decor to really suit that and make it flow better.
That's dope. And then running at 1,600, you don't know your end all be all numbers.
So end all be all, we should net about $1,900 a month. That again is paying for our private money. And so we have a private money payment of about $500 for 6 months. So after that's paid off, we're looking at around $2,400 net.
Savage.
Crazy, right?
Savage. There's a month's worth of marketing. There's a month worth of marketing, and now you don't have to trip.
100%, man. It that fast, man. That fast. So anybody in the audience, anybody have Airbnb or had any interest in Airbnb, I definitely say reach out to Kyle Stanley, man, because he's definitely, he taught us everything we know. He's our Airbnb guy here in Fresno. I pay him for coaching, even though he's my boy, right? It don't matter if you really appreciate, what people do and the value that they bring to you. You will never try to get it for free. I pay him because it makes sense, the value that he brings to me and my family.
He's my partner, and I bought his course.
Yeah.
Well, my girlfriend bought his course, but still, like, he's my partner, bro. And then I can
learn, man. You gotta learn.
For the coaching. I don't know, you gotta make it worth his time, because even though we're partners, bro, he's still got other shit going on.
I mean, dude, I be having so many questions, and I'm just like, at what point is it like, okay, well, you're gonna have to pay me? You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever want anyone to feel that way about me. You know what I mean? I don't want it to look like I'm abusing a relationship.
Oh, bro. Well, think about it this way, right? So my dad is an electrician, owns an electrical company, and he gets bombarded by motherfuckers to come wire their basements.
Yeah.
And like they want it for free. Like, hey, can you wire my basement for free? It takes up like a month, and it's like, bro. And he's not spending any more time with my mom or time with the family, blah, blah, blah. That gets to be a pain in the ass, dude.
And that's tough. That's tough. That's tough when you're running a business and you already got the work in itself. And when you have, and we say a job, but when you have a business that you genuinely love doing, it's already hard to disconnect from it. So to have other people sucking at your time, it's usually not no bueno.
No bueno. So number one, pay for mentors, please. I'm telling you guys, pay for mentors. Vet them out. Make sure not a furu.
Yeah.
Pay for it, man. It's changed my life. I mainly want to make money so I can learn more and pay more people to show me more.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the speed, it's the ability. So the value that he brought by us paying him for coaching was the ability to feel a little bit better about pulling the trigger. You know what I mean? Like if it was just me, I probably would have overanalyzed it a whole lot more. I probably wouldn't even call the guy because I didn't feel comfortable about it. But being able to talk to him, have that access to him and stuff like that really allowed me to feel confident in what I'm doing And once I, see the numbers, it's just like, well, shit, this is a no-brainer.
Bro, it is an absolute no-brainer. Like, and it even comes with wholesale, right? You want to have a mentor in your market so someone can tell you, like, yes, lock it up.
Lock it.
Yeah, lock it up. And at least you have someone behind you, right? That's what I love about like Keegley, Dean, and Mondo, to where like, I'll fucking buy it here. And so you go in there with authority, knowing we're moving.
Deal. You know what I mean? I think early on, you don't always know if it's a deal. I mean, and I still get that feeling when I'm analyzing or comping something myself. I'm like, man, am I seeing this right? I got a whole lot of experience, but you still don't necessarily trust it. You're just like, am I being too aggressive, whatever it may be? I send it to someone else and like, oh man, that's a deal. We can move that all day.
Right, bro. You can move it all day. And so we got that. Let's I forgot to put this in our Facebook group.
Oh man.
While we're talking about that, let's talk about which one's the best deal out of these four, and what was the hardest part about them, and what did you learn? Because hundreds of deals.
I mean, obviously, I think the Airbnb deal is going to be the best deal because of first and foremost the passive income of it, and then the cash flow, right? I mean, there's not much that you can go out there and buy for $20,000 and still and passively make about $1,900. Right. So that's gonna in itself exceed all the other ones. You said what was the most difficult?
Yeah, what was the most difficult? Like, because some deals are just bizarre, dude.
Well, you know what? Knock on wood, man, because I actually been thinking about that lately. I was just, there's always those difficult deals, and recently I've kind of had it. I mean, there's nothing goes perfect, but I haven't had any at this point where it's just like, man, it's legitimately a pain in my ass. Like I'm working on one right now that's from last year. I've been working on this one for almost 2 years, so that one's been a pain in my ass. But I had a guy today on the one that we were able to lock up, and he's older. He's like in his 80s, and he had a home in corporate. And so when we talked to him, it wasn't much negotiation. I mean, it was a deal from the moment we spoke to him. Just didn't want it to be a steal. Make him think that we knew it was a steal. But I think it was a pretty fair price based off condition and stuff like that. I think we're going to be able to move that one pretty damn good. But he would look on everything on his iPad. And so I would send him my contract, through the CRM, and they use Right Signature. And he was having problems pulling it up and being able to zoom in on the iPad to read it.
Bro.
He's like, just send it to me in the mail. And I'm like, bruh. Like, I'm like, in the mail, man, it's gonna take like 3 days to get there. Who knows how long it's gonna take you to sign it?
Time kills all deals.
Like just open the escrow and not in an asshole type way. It was just more like, we agreed on something verbally, old school, right? So when it comes to the older generation, their word is gold to them. You know what I mean? That's all you got in this world is your word. And so he's like, just start escrow and, I'll be down. He was in Cayucas chilling, right? Any older person chilling in Cayucas, they lived a great life. They did well for themselves. He's like, I'll be in corporate on the 22nd. If we need anything at that time, we can handle it then. And I'm like, bro, there's no way I'm waiting to the 22nd. Like, this is the deal. So I was just like, you know what? Remember, I told you I paid for Right Signature and I paid for DocuSign because I personally believe DocuSign is easier.
Get HelloSign, bro. It's free.
I tried it, but again, nothing is beating DocuSign for me when it comes to just user friendly. Like
So you pay for Right Signature now?
Yeah.
That's right. What's it called? Right Signature. I run into it every other deal.
Yeah.
Where some random fucking bullshit pops up.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happened. And so I said, you know what? Let me try sending it to you through DocuSign and see, if you're able to look at it, because I knew the issue was when he was trying to zoom into it. It's probably shifting and shit. Right Signature. And so I sent it to him through DocuSign. As soon as I sent it, he was able to open it. He agreed on it, but then he never signed it. This was yesterday, and I'm like, can you, when you're done reviewing it, do me a favor, make sure you completely sign the contract. The night went through, it got too late at that point, so I'm just like, all right, I'll call him in the morning. So I called him this morning, And I had him pull it up, and he's like, "Oh, well, it says like sign right here at the top." I'm like, "Yeah, yes, sir. You got to click start." So I told him, click through the start. He went down to the bottom. He said, "Oh, okay, sign." He's like, "Oh, let me sign it." I'm like, "Well, it has another option where it'll generate the signature for you, so you don't have to worry about it being perfect." But he went there and he scribbled on it, whatever he did. And then he said, "So do I push finish now?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's it." So I mean, I guess that would be the difficult one. But it was one of those things where it wasn't difficult because he was just like frustrating or whatever it may be. It was just difficult in the sense of like, nowadays we don't really have to walk too many people through it. And so it was actually a pretty cool moment, being able to just, I don't know, it was crazy for me. It was pretty fun, but that was probably one of the easiest ones I've had so far.
So quick tip for people who are wholesaling virtually, never send the contract over unless you can get them on the phone and review it with them. Like, right. So you want to, what I do is I create another step and a moment for them to make it an event for us to sign the documents. Right. So I'll be like, okay, when are you going to be by your computer so I can give you a call and send it over and review with you. Right. That way, because if you send it over, sometimes they'll just fucking ghost you. They're gone.
I got ghosted.
Right? You'll get ghosted and they're gone. I won't send it. I will not hit send until we're on the phone talking to each other. And I can talk to them like, okay, did you get it? You got it? Awesome. Open it up. Now we go over it and then we go to hit sign. Right. So
I feel like that can go both ways though, for the most part. Like if they're not completely sold on it, you know what I mean? Like whether you're on, I get that you can have a little bit more authority being on the phone, but I've also, they say that you can't get deals if you're not sending offers and stuff like that. So
I'm talking about when you're good, when you know you got to get this thing closed, right? If you're just sending out random offers,
yeah,
hit the button.
Yeah.
Here you go, asshole. Here you go, asshole. Here you go, asshole.
Yeah, for sure.
But like when like, oh man, this is a deal, you don't want to give them time to think, right? So many things pop up, or
children, especially
with the older people, children pop up. The wholesaler calls them. You're gonna have blah 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 blah. All this shit happen, and again, time kills all deals.
Yes.
So you want to make sure you get that thing signed, you get it, and you open up escrow that same day.
Yeah. And but what sucks though is because when the children do get involved like that, like I get it, it's your parents. But one thing that I'm really starting to see, obviously, when it comes to money, there's people, there's greed, right? And so the tough part is, the older generation has a problem when it comes to some of these properties. They don't want to put any more money into it. They don't want to be a landlord no more. The only reason some of them are even considering selling is because at some point the child probably didn't even want to take it over for them.
The kids didn't want it, bro.
You know what I mean? So the reason like I'm even having this conversation with them is because at some point they tried to push this off to you. You either didn't want the financial responsibility of it or whatever it may have been. But when it comes to, they're fed up with it. They want to sell it. They're willing to sell it to me. Okay, hold on. There's money involved now. What? We can make more off of this. Like, you know what I mean? Who's we?
Who is we?
Who was we? You wasn't there when he was trying to go collect rent. And so I think that's the frustrating thing about it is because these homeowners are in distress and where they're offering them fair prices for these properties based off the condition that they're in. They got to understand that price isn't always, the money isn't everything for everybody, right? We can be getting a house at $80,000 and it's a $110,000 house. Again, there's no fees and none of that stuff involved. And when you're typically some of these older people, they're well off enough where they're not tripping off 20 grand. They're basically paying me 20 grand to take it. You know what I mean? So
easily, smoothly, without a fuss, without dragging them out.
You know what I'm saying?
Properly, having right business, that like you establish the rapport and let them know you're a good business owner and that transaction is going to go smoothly and they don't have to go through 9 different people. Exactly. A lot of times, bro, it's like putting your car up on Craigslist or putting your house up for rent, right? When I put up to sell a house on Zillow, like one of our owner finance houses, with me and Kyle, there's 500 messages on Facebook, hundreds of calls, into our smartphone system. Like, I want to do that shit. If someone came in, offered me a little bit lower price and they were legit,
yeah.
oh yeah, but I don't have the infrastructure set up to get the top dollar right now. So off my hands.
Bro, we got a deal right now where we could have probably made $5,000 or $6,000 more, but the person who was a little, $5,000 or $6,000 less, they were like, I know the area. Well, I don't need to walk through it. I'll buy it. And the other person was offering more. He just wanted to walk through it, and I ain't got no problem with him walking through it. But it's just now I got to block off a time to go, reach out to the tenant and find a time for you to be able to walk through the property. No, bro, it's convenience. I ain't got time for that shit. I'd rather, that $5,000, the time that's gonna take me to do all that, I would have been make that $5,000 all over again.
Right, push it and keep going.
Yeah, I'm gonna push it and keep going. You know what I'm saying? So if your parents are out there and they're looking to sell me a house, don't get involved.
All right, let's go through some of the comments. Hey, Kalani Young. Hey, beautiful. What are the things you're looking for when you're choosing the right mentor for you? That's a good question. I think number one, they have to align with you, right? So when I say that, I'll use Rafael Vargas. Mm-hmm. Rafael Vargas aligns with a certain demographic of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To where, and then we have Don.
Not me,
God, family, bitches. I mean that I'm a family man.
Sorry, bro.
And so I think number one is that what they're doing aligns with you. Number two, their business is what you want your business to look like. Because I've done this and a ton of other people have done this where they build something that they didn't even want, right? Like you're trying to build this business for freedom, then you got to go to your office every day. You have 9 different employees or managing people and your profit margin's slimmer, right? And you had to go for margin.
Yeah.
To where if you would have kept it slim, figured out some other things, structured it a different way, you have a lot more time freedom. Yeah. I think the number one thing is, do you align with them just spiritually, for lack of better words? And then number two, does their business look like something you'd want your business to look like? Mm-hmm. And are they legit?
Yeah.
And if you want to know if they're legit, I would, what did I do? At least for me, I asked people I knew. Even now, I ask people I know if I'm going to buy something. Who like, hey, have you used this? Hey, have you used this? Have you gone to that event? What do you think about that event? And I will get an honest answer of a yes or a no. And then obviously, if you're in the industry, you'll hear rumblings of people who are somewhat furus, and you should stay away. But I'd say alignment is number one, and then vetting. It is so hard to vet. I was talking to someone who we both know really well who got scammed for $35,000 by a dude who said he was a guru. And I'll tell you after this who.
Guru?
No, who says yeah, I do this. He's like, bro, he talks the talk. He did everything.
Like that's like the number one red flag.
He felt so sure about it. He was like, bro, he told me about who he was joining, right? I was like talking about masterminds, like, oh, I'm joining this one. I feel so strongly about it, bro. He's really aligned with what I'm aligned with. Mm-hmm. And then it was just nothing. As you guys are getting started, I would say the top people to go to, and this is wholesaling, flipping, Sean Terry, mm-hmm. Steve Trang, Pace Morby.
That's not right there.
Right? And they have
and that's if you're not going, if it's not local, right? Those 3 people clearly do the business and they're good people.
If it's local, yeah. I'd call your local title companies and see how many deals they're running through them.
For sure.
I would ask on the Facebook groups, and I would be like, hey, what title company is everybody using for investments?
So slick right there.
And then from there, I'd call that title company and the person trying to
call Lupe and call Kim.
No, and how many deals are they running through? Oh, I've never heard of them. Well, there's a red flag, and that's another thing you can do to verify them. What's another
business where you're coaching, right? You probably use every title company locally.
You're cutting out a little bit, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Good.
you're coming back.
Okay.
What's another way? Asking in the forum, like asking in the Facebook groups, right? If you ask in a Facebook group, if like, so we have our.
Am I coming in clear for you guys on the stream?
You're getting better. It was
you or is it everybody else? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can see me pretty clear on there. Give me a thumbs down if I'm chopping up.
What was I going to say?
About betting.
Asking your Facebook group, right? So in our Central Valley Wholesalers group, someone asked who the biggest investors are in Fresno, and Blanca like put me. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's not true, but thank you. But
please don't put me. Please don't put me.
I would that is how I would know, right? I'd ask like, okay, who are the biggest people? And then from there, I'd see if they offer any type of mentorship. And then I personally think you should pay them or split marketing with them. You need to have skin in the game to move forward. Nothing in this life is free. And every second you spend talking to them is a second they are not spending with their families. So it has to be worth something to them to fully invest into you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And sometimes you got to hound them. I hounded Alan, bro. I hounded Alan, but I brought as much value as I possibly could. And I was talking about this with another guy. When he told me to do something, I went and did it. I didn't go question a bunch of other shit. Like, go do X. And then you go and try and do something else. Like we were talking about, so many people come to me to try and get into wholesaling. And then they bring me a deal that's on the MLS when the first conversation I had is like, do not ever bring me on market deals. Do not ever.
I was going to say that. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say that it's tough. Like you can't roll over and be like, you know what, I think I want to do wholesaling. Let me go find me a coach. Because most of the people that you're looking for, and maybe there's people that, you know, that do take newbies like that, and this is no shot at newbies whatsoever. But I think the one downfall that you have if you're just getting into wholesaling is that you haven't done shit yet. You know, and I think people who have been in the game, they understand how tough it can be early on. And so when you're someone that maybe did a deal or two, maybe 3, 4 deals, right? At that point, you done kind of started figuring it out. You done understood kind of what it takes to market and what it is to kind of grind. And now you're looking for better systems. You're looking to be more efficient in the money that you're spending. But early on, I mean, we say you don't know shit about shit. So, so it's kind of hard for someone, you know, it's hard for me sometimes to take the time out to help somebody. And that's why we do a lot of like the podcast. That's why there's a lot of YouTube videos and stuff like that. We go Instagram lives and Facebook lives because we try to give as much entry level tips as we can without necessarily having someone dragging along with us. You know what I mean?
It's not even, I mean, I guess dragging along is a word, but it gets, imagine if you're at your new job and you have 10 people coming up to you a day asking you how you do your job. When are you going to have time to do your job?
I'm a little bit pissed off that you even put it that way.
That's what I mean, I'm not super legit yet. Like I'm a business owner. My wholesale business is not set up yet, right? So I'm very, very busy. Mm-hmm. I'm answering questions. And so I would say the number one thing when you are getting started, take the advice and fucking run with it.
Yeah.
Pick one dude and just go. Just pick one guy. Pick one guy or girl. I don't care who it is. Plow forward. Listen to everything they say. Do everything they say. Don't look back.
Yep. 100%.
And Chris hyped me up with the golden tip of the getting it signed online. I know.
Yeah. Yes. Getting them on the phone.
And then he was saying that's legit with the title company.
In here, baby. We love it. There's another guy with a lot of volume in our area.
And Chris will help out people.
Yes.
Chris's office is actually right in front of me.
Is it? Hey man, I'll be there soon, man. I'm waiting for my desk to come in.
He's in the hub.
It was supposed to get there Tuesday and it ain't got there yet.
He's in the hub. All right, guys. If you guys have any other questions before we move on to the next segment, feel free to ask them. Some other things we're going to cover. I want to cover Amazon. Is it legit Is it not? How to vet out a good Amazon company. There is an empty desk in your office.
Is the empty desk in my office?
Yeah, there's an empty desk in your office.
Hey man, I'm bougie. I want the one that rises up like Stratton's. Hey, it was supposed to be here Tuesday, so Amazon might need to give me a second desk so Chris can sit on it.
And then what else? How to train your leads managers and what to do, I think is a decent one. As far as Amazon, when you're choosing a company, make sure they're legit and they've been in business. And I tell you, for those of you like looking to get in real estate, looking to do anything, just like anything else, pick one avenue and go. Because I have other people coming to me trying to get into wholesaling, and they're trying to create their own Amazon store, trying to do all that. It doesn't really pick one, dude. I promise you, you'll be successful no matter what you choose, as long as you pick it and stick to it. Mm-hmm. And then when you're going with an Amazon company, make sure the operator is well, because the operator will make or break your company.
Why can't they just reach out to you and find out who you use?
I mean, you can. But I think you need to do a lot of due diligence. I've spoken to a lot of people who have gone through awful situations, and I've had other newer investors reach out to me saying they're buying Amazon stores from certain companies, and I've told them not to.
Yeah.
And if you do it, get a Amex Plum card so you can have a 60-day pay period just in case your account gets suspended.
Wow.
That's that. And it's not. It's not.
Hey, guys, we got people in here, so let me, guys, go ahead and shoot us some questions. Send us, some comments. Let's get a little bit of interaction. Where you guys coming from? Where you guys tuning in from? Have you guys listened to any of our other podcasts? Are you guys in real estate? Are you a realtor, contractor, handyman? Let's see who we got up in here. Are you interested in real estate?
All right. And so while we're waiting, let's talk a little bit about a leads manager.
Yeah.
And what they do in your business. And when you need a leads manager, really, right? Because there's a fine line of laziness and needing it. If you can afford it, I guess you give in to the laziness.
Yeah.
But a leads manager is someone who is going to call all of your leads for you and qualify all of your leads for you.
Are they closing the deal?
They're not closing the deal.
They're not closing the deal.
They're not closing the deal. Oh, that's a good one.
We'll go back to that one because we're on something nice. We'll get to that, Louis.
So they're not going to close any deals for you, man. But
Yeah.
what they are going to do is so the way I have it set up in my business is I have cold callers, texters, whatever coming in. All those leads come into the bucket, and just imagine it as a funnel, right? Like this. And then the leads managers call those, qualify them again. Then they come down to here. And then after that, I talk to them and they come down to here. And it's just one fat funnel. You want your leads managers to sift through the bullshit. Mm-hmm. Not every lead is a good lead. If every lead is a good lead, we'd all be rich. Someone has to qualify them, right? So they got to talk to them. And a lot of them, right, they just may not be ready to sell. And to take away from your mundane and keep your energy okay. Because for me, I don't want to talk to tire kickers all day. I only want to talk to people who want to do business with me.
I want to talk to people that I can fucking close today or tomorrow. You know what I mean?
I tell them I want you to be able to do business with me in the next 90 days. Because if there's a chance you want to do business in the next 90 days and it's not, I'll sell tomorrow if you give me the right price. No.
Yeah, I don't got time for shit like that.
Not that bullshit. Someone wants to do business in the next 90 days. Like, cool, that's a timeline I can work with. And like that can go into a hotter follow-up to where I'm at that point, you may be following up with them every week because the 90 days is they have to talk to their brother about something and then this and that. Mm-hmm. My leads managers push through anything that has 3 pillars or a really, really, really solid motivation. Right. So if they're like, hey, I just inherited the house and I don't want it, but I want $300,000 and it's worth $150,000, I will still take that. I'll take that lead.
If they inherit it. It's what?
If they inherited it, they're like, I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it. They say they want 300,000. It's worth 150, but maybe they just don't know the market and they live in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Send it over.
But at the same time, your leads manager should be asking, if you don't mind me asking, how'd you come up with the 300,000?
Exactly.
Because if they're going to give you a price that high, I want to know where that came from. Because when I go to sift through those leads, because I'm lead managing myself, when I go through those leads and I see 300,000, the next question is, why is that the asking price? I want to know why they're at 300,000. Because if they say, they don't know, they're in what typically where you will see that situation is if it's a house here and the family member who inherited it is in the Bay Area or in LA. They're like, I want 300,000 because it's expensive as shit over there. So they're just going to assume like, oh, it's got to be worth at least 300,000 because that's cheap compared to them. Right. And so I'm going to hop on the phone with them like, oh, okay, I see you stay over here. Have you had a chance to look at comparables of what's selling around here? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. You would take that lead, but there's like little things that you would look deeper into to kind of see, or things that you would want back to be able to make a better decision on that.
And your script will pull out those things. It's not like you're going to hire on someone and they're going to know exactly what to do right out the gate, unless you go to a service and that service is reaming them. But real estate is so...
Call magicians,
right? Call magicians. But there are so many different variables in every single deal. And that's why it makes real estate really hard to scale, right? With single family houses, because you're talking to a different personality type. You got age, like so many different types of sellers, so many different types of properties, so many different types of situations that you're going to have to listen to your leads managers, train them up like, oh, okay, when this happens, generally it's this. When this happens, generally it's this. And you want them to dig a little bit, just enough to get you out some pain, but you don't want them to be having the same 3 conversations with your cold caller, your leads manager, then they get to you like, hey, listen here. I already got asked all these questions. Like, what are you doing asking me these questions?
Where's my offer?
Like, where's my offer? Blah, blah, blah. That leads manager is there to sift, build a little bit of rapport, and then shoot it to you, and then it's your job to close them.
Yeah. Yep.
What else can they do? Our leads managers go through our Podio. They send everything to like the deals app if it is ready, and it has to have 3 pillars unless there's a really, really high motivation. And you're going to have to train them because they may say, oh, this is a hot lead. He wants to sell like now. Like, no. And this will be at the beginning. It's something you got to go through. What other tips do you have for them?
Man, you pretty much covered it, man. It's really, you say you do the 3 pillars. Is that just with your leads manager, or is that with your cold callers you do 4?
So when I say 3 pillars, I want 3 out of the 4 pillars if it's going to come to me.
Okay, and that's kind of how we do it. So when they're on that, like you said, when they're on that call, the first thing as a lead, and this is me lead managing because I do my own lead managing right now, right? We talked about that, and that's actually something that we talked about. I'm probably going to have to. Well, Chris is starting to take that on a little bit, right? And so the biggest thing when these leads come in, I'm asking, hey, what's their price? What's the condition? What's the timeline? And what's their motivation? I can do without having a price, but one thing I can't do without having is motivation. Why do they want to sell this property? If they're just saying that, they just want an offer, okay, yeah, that's cool, but I'm not an agent. I'm not a real estate agent. If you just want to offer, you just want to find out what your house is worth, go call an agent. I don't have time to sit there and you're only selling it because you're getting so many phone calls. You just think it's the time to sell it.
Well, you need a price too, right? Because if they can't even give me a number, then they're not serious about doing business.
First thing I tell them, and I don't know if it's just being in it for so long at this point or having so many tire kickers. The first thing I do when I get on the phone, look, I'm not a salesy person. I'm not getting on this phone and nickel and dime you. I'm trying to see you. It came to me that you're interested in possibly selling it. Your time is valuable. My time is valuable. In order for me to see if we're even a good fit for each other, I need to kind of know what you're thinking this home is worth. Because based off of what I'm seeing, and at that point, I'll anchor them, right? I'll reset those expectations. I'm seeing between $60,000 to $80,000.
Right, but you'll free up a lot of your time, bro.
Yeah. for the most part.
Like, I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm not trying to bullshit with you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to buy a house. If you're looking to sell, awesome. I'm an investor. And then if you're dealing with a cowboy like we deal with all the time, like, oh yeah, like, all right, sir, thank you, peace.
But that works really good for those red personalities. They call them like those aggressive people. Like, oh man, I did work on this house, sir. I completely understand that. If we're not a fit, I completely get it. You know, we can't buy every property, but at the end of the day, I'm looking for investments, right? I understand that you're trying to make as much money as possible. Understand I'm trying to look for an investment that makes sense for my business, right? If we can't come together and come up with something that's fair to where you make some money based off the money that you've put into it, but there's still room in there for me to come in and add value to that property, then that could be, you know, if we can't come to that, then there's nothing to talk about here. And I'm okay with that. We'll still be buddies.
Right. I try not to, I need it to need some type of work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like unless there's a crazy motivation, and generally people are going to tell you that motivation, like I probably miss out on a couple of deals, and there's going to be someone more experienced, and they're like, oh no, you need to talk to everybody, to where they say, oh, it's in perfect condition, and I want 300,000, but then I
need in my CRM.
Right? Why does that lead in my CRM? And every landlord thinks the house is in perfect condition. Generally, if they say a property is fair, that'll count as a property condition for me, right? If they say anything besides it's perfect, it'll count as a property condition for me because all these motherfuckers lie.
Yeah, and here's another thing also with the perfect condition, right? Because even if we know it's an old home, they've owned it for 20 years. Oh, I did the roof 10 years ago. I did the kitchen and all that stuff 10 years ago. It's in great condition. You know, make me an offer. You know, I'm getting tired of taking care of the property. I don't even want that one because they're getting tired. Well, why are they getting tired of taking care of the property? Are the tenants calling them every month because this done blew out or this done blew out? Like, are they bugging them to the point where they don't want to take care of it no more? Like them just like being a tired landlord. Like it's motivation, but like why is that the motivation? Like they're not just tired because they don't own the home for 20 years. Like there's something that these tenants are doing or that's going on with this property that's exhausting them. So when you just say, hey, you know, I'm tired of of having managing these properties or whatever it may be, I need to know more about that.
Right. And so a question you need to ask these people, or your leads managers ask these people, right? You always got to act surprised. I'll be like, I love this area. What's the reason you're even considering selling? Or it sounds like this is super hands off for you. Like, what's the reason you were talking to me? Mm-hmm. Right. However it comes out of your mouth, whatever your style is, right? I'm a lot more direct. Like, it just sounds like you're not even doing anything. Like, what's the reason you're even interested in selling?
Oh, why are you looking at selling?
Right. Oh, well, because of this. Oh, what do you mean by that? Well, I don't like the tenants call me. Oh, well, what do you mean by that? Well, they call me all the time, and sometimes they're a little bit rate on rent. When you say a little bit rate on rent, what do you mean?
How often does that happen?
Right? How often does that happen? Like we have to get into the pain. You have to find out something. And then
they're not the pain, and they're not motivated to sell.
Right. And some people may not give you the pain, right? Some deals just go easy. It's a great deal. It's an anomaly. They didn't really give you any pain. But generally, if they don't have any issues with it, why the hell would they sell to you?
Yeah. Everybody's not for everybody. And you got to be okay with that. If they won't give us the information that we need in order to properly evaluate a property and get them the best offer that we can give them, they're not really interested in selling. Our job isn't to convince them.
If they aren't playing ball with you and they're not engaging with you on the conversation, I just call them out like, hey, sir, like, I thought you were interested in selling. It doesn't sound like you're really too engaged. Like, I don't want to waste my time. And if they're just like, oh, yeah, honestly, no, I was looking for an offer. Like, oh, thank you so much. It's just not what I do. I'm trying to buy a house. This is how I feed my family. If you tell someone that brings a lot of people back to reality. Mm-hmm. Hey, this is how I feed my family. That brings home for most people.
Yeah. Oh, a little sad moment right there.
Right? I mean, I feel like I went on a little bit of a rant.
Here we go. So what CRM do you use?
Pulse REI operating system. I got it, bro.
There you go.
Go to ceopulse.com and go to their CRM options. And yeah, Rafael Cortez made it. He's amazing. He has a really successful business in Arizona, and he's an organization. Like, tell him Stratton sent you.
Your CRM's pretty legit.
Yeah, my CRM's super legit.
No problem, Rolando.
Awesome. And would be leads managers, and that's how you train them going into what?
You know Rolando? Do you know Rolando?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Thanks for tuning in, Rolando, man. It's nice to see faces that we don't always see.
Awesome. Anything else we're missing on those leads managers? And thank you for tuning in, bro. I think that's about all, man. You really don't hire on a leads manager until you know what the hell you're doing.
Oh, that's what we left out. Just when to hire him. You kind of talked a little bit on it.
Oh, okay.
Right? And I had a feeling that it kind of was aimed at me a little bit.
I mean, you need to hire one just because, like, you get to a point to where, and your leads managers need to follow up with your bullshit too.
Yeah.
You're paying for those leads. Make sure someone's touching base with them.
Yeah.
You want to touch base with them when their tenant gets their door kicked down and someone's smoking meth. You want to be that guy.
You gotta be that guy.
Your leads manager. So let's say a lead comes in and you don't close it within the next week or so, and it just ends up falling through. Send it back to your leads manager. Your leads manager will follow up with them every 30 days. What's going on, bro?
Big dog. Hey, bro. Had freaking DoorDash at the door. You want me to open it? Hey, my wife started dying when she heard, you want me to walk you to the car? She caught it. I didn't catch it. I was like, what you laughing at? She's like, he asked him if he wanted him to walk him to the car. I was like, oh, man. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was, low-key disrespectful.
Oh, that's my boy. Leave him alone. Lewis right here. He said, how many days does your Airbnb have to be rented to reach your break-even point? That is a good question. We haven't necessarily ran the number on that yet because the spread is just so big. And it's based off of 26 days or something like that for us to be able to net around $1,900 for it. So we don't really evaluate it based off of how many days. It's more on we'll evaluate in order to at least cover expenses. If we were to rent it out every day, how low could we go? If that makes sense. So we know for our first property, we know that we have to at least rent it out for $80 a day, right? And obviously you're gonna have our days in there where we're getting to $140 a night, and that's gonna help take away from having to rent it out every day.
And are you your own profile, correct?
Huh?
You're using your own profile
for Airbnb?
Yeah, for hosting it.
Yeah, for hosting it. Yes, my wife is the host and I'm the co-host. I'm the side host.
I want to cover that leads manager thing real quick again.
Yeah.
When to hire them when you don't have enough time to talk to all your leads.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you just can't even, because at a point in time, you're holding a bunch of other things together. When you don't have enough time to talk to your new leads, that's time just to hire on someone part-time if you can. But it's just time, dude, to hire on someone to talk to, screen, to where you're only talking to people who want to do business with you. Mm-hmm. Anyone who falls out, who even if they want to do business with you, like I was talking about, falls out, leads manager talks to them. You're only talking to the hot things because you will get emotionally drained talking to bullshit.
That's again, I'm feeling what you're saying, bro. I'm feeling what you're saying because that's kind of where I am at this point. right? I mean, you guys know my wife. She's 9 months pregnant, right? She's about to pop any day now, if not tonight, right? And so it starts to tug and pull at you. You got your family, but then you got the Airbnb side of it. Then you got the wholesale side of it. You got deals that you're going through escrow with. You got a texter. You got 2 callers. You just got leads just coming through. Not all of them are sometimes good leads. And so you're looking at them and you're almost qualifying them without even freaking talking to them. You know what I'm saying? You're running comps just to verify that they're not good leads and stuff like that. Next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, I forgot to do this. I forgot to fill out the rental contract. I forgot to do the loan documents. I forget, you know what I mean? It's just, you become overwhelmed where it's exhausting. Like I lay on the bed sometimes and I'll just close my eyes because I'm just like, fuck, I need 10 seconds.
And then you got those kids running around with no VIP club pass.
Huh?
Kids running around with no VIP club pass, rattling shit in the room.
You start to realize that you're slowly running out of time on things. You can't sit down to complete things because you're constantly being pulled in other directions. When you feel like you can't give it your best shot, and that's slowly where I'm starting to get, I feel like I'm almost cheating my team because I can't, I can't find the time to literally sit there and lead manage some of these leads and actually give them, I got a caller who's strictly commissioned. So at what point am I cheating him because I'm not able to look at every lead that he's sending in? You know what I mean? Because he's at a different space than I am. He's where I used to be. So this is everything for him. He's calling 8 hours a day. So at some point I start to feel like I'm cheating him because he's sending me 5 leads and I haven't even looked, I might have skimmed at him, but I haven't called him back. You know what I mean? So that's when I think you get to a point where you need to start hiring a lead manager because you're starting to cheat your team and your business.
Well, and bro, my big thing was, besides time, I felt I would procrastinate because I didn't want to deal with the bullshit talking to these people.
Yeah.
Right. But I know there's money in there.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was just like, man, I don't want to talk to these people. Like, I know majority of them are shit. I go look through them, they're shit. But
years.
Whenever you do it, you're going to find a lead in there, right? Yeah. Most of my leads are not ever like hot leads. I don't think any of them are hot leads. I get like one every other month to where a dude's like, yeah, I mean, I'm ready to go. You ready to go?
And see, this is what I did with some of it. Because, I mean, the first thing you said is, can Chris do some of it? And yes, he can. So my commission caller can do that. And so I incentivized it for him because obviously he gets paid 20% on any deal that he brings in that we close. And so I told him, I said, look, we got a CRM full of leads. If you can go bring some of those to life, I'll give you 20% of those. Because right now they're not being touched.
Right.
So now he has leads that he has to call to get into our pipeline. And then he has a pipeline full of leads that have, quote unquote, been qualified for the most part. It's just more of a follow-up game. Bro, you go bring some of those to life and I'll give you those too. Because to me, it makes sense to pay you that because it's a lead that I probably wouldn't have touched for who knows how long. And maybe Chris or Stratton would have closed out that deal. So yeah, bro, you go hit some CPR on some of those dead leads in there, or you're going to get paid for them too.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Chris, where do you find a strictly commission caller? Bro, I'm going to tell you just like I tell him. I mean, I was blessed that he even, came my way. It was a referral, right? My mother-in-law knew his mother. He was a young kid. He actually came on with me probably my first year when 2019, he came on with me. I believe he was like 18, just turned 19 or something like that. And it didn't work out, man. He wasn't able to really stay consistent with it. As you can imagine at that age, you got no responsibility. You're out of high school. You're not staying with your parents no more. And so we it was like a little split in there, but it was fine because I was still grinding. Right. I had no business really trying to bring nobody on. Right. And so he reached out to me towards the end of last year and around October, and he wanted to come back on. I'm like, bro, we did this already. I don't. How can I trust you? And he was just like, well, I can show you more than I can tell you. And so I just listening to his reasoning for wanting to take it serious and stuff like that. Again, he was someone that I believed in a lot. So yeah, man, he started calling for me, and he loves it. He embraces the part of it. It takes a different person, man, and that's why I say I was blessed, because he understands it. He knows that I would pay him in a heartbeat when I'm able to do that. And one day I'm going to be able to do that, and I'm going to pay him pretty goddamn well for it, because he's bringing more value to me than sometimes I feel like I bring to him. So it's just a good relationship, man. He's doing good, but it's because he's young. He has no kids. I don't believe he has a girlfriend or anything like that. So he has the time to be able to just be a killer. You know what I'm saying? So just keeping his head right.
And that is a great find.
He's in the office more than me.
It is. As we're tying this up, you want to show everybody your little corner over there?
My corner over here. Hold on, did the iPad die? We got Mike Zuber's One Rental at a Time. You gotta read this book, man. Anyone looking into starting a real estate portfolio, don't know where to start. You work a 9-to-5 job, or you got your everyday job, right? You don't think that you can do it. This is a great book. He literally tells you how he went from one rental to what he's about 200 doors at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Around there, and he did most of it while he still worked the job. So he goes through how he was able to fund them, how he had to live below his means, and how he discovered hard money and private money and acquiring and selling during the 2008 market crash and stuff like that. So it's a great book, man. I think if you're interested in building a portfolio, you have to read that book. And then Think and Grow Rich. This business and just any business in general, just success. The biggest thing is just it's your mindset, man. You have to think these things into existence. If your mind's not right, man, you won't make it too far.
Without a doubt. You have any parting words, my friend?
I don't know, man. Shoot, we may end up taking like a week off maybe next week. The way that I see it, my wife most likely will be having our baby girl. I don't know when it's gonna be. It seems like it's coming. Those contractions are getting pretty close. Hopefully she ain't had the baby in the living room while we've been on this podcast. But yeah, man, that's it, man. We're excited for this new little journey.
Take next week off, I guess, or you can just bring the baby into it. It's cool.
Well, I told her that I could take the computer to the hospital, because you're having a baby in the hospital. I can't leave. So I mean, dude, we got stuff packed up in the bags. I got my snacks, and because you can't leave. Before, the other two kids, I was able to, what sounds good? Some tacos sound good. Go get some tacos. Well, I guess once we go into the hospital or whatever, when she's admitted, there's nowhere for us to go. And so after Saturday at 11 a.m., what's going on Saturday, 11 a.m.?
Bro, you can't leave because of COVID? Like, you guys are just in there, huh?
Yeah, you're in there. You're in there. Are you walking that, Cletus? I think I know what he's talking about. Are you walking with me on Saturday? But yeah, with the COVID and stuff, like once you get admitted, you can fucking do it. When we get in, we can't leave. So yeah, we're gonna be there. It's to be honest with you, it's gonna be a great thing, bro. We're gonna be in there, no kids, no kids. I'm gonna be able to lead manage. My wife's gonna have that epidural, so she's gonna be asleep. I might close some deals in Clovis community.
Right? You ain't got nobody trying to get into the club without a VIP pass.
Nobody trying to get in the club without a VIP pass, baby.
I didn't know what you were talking about at the beginning until Zeno's been picking up a lot, right? Daddy.
Hey, Chris, it is, bro. It's a mini vacation. Me and my wife was talking about that. We're like, man, we feel kind of guilty, but having another baby, I mean, that's gonna give us like a little. We're gonna be in there. We even said our biggest goal was to make sure that we locked up this Airbnb and secured the funding for it, because while we're in the hospital, we're gonna be designing the furniture and stuff like that we're gonna put into it. So we're like, yeah, we can sit there and we can map out how we want to furnish it, hop on the websites and order the stuff. That's the life of having almost 3 kids, baby. Chris knows.
Chris knows.
Chris
Right.
knows.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys are looking for cold callers, go to callmagicians.com. Please follow us both on Instagram at StratDaddy, at Michael Butler Jr.
My wife is 4 months out from having number 5, so I'll
I want
bless your heart. You know, he is a blessed man, though. He got that patience, man.
Right.
And I admire that, because I'd love to have 5 kids, but I got the patience.
I want 6, and then I'm home at Zeno with Zeno trying to work. Oh
my God. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. But yeah, guys, go ahead. You were doing your parting words. You said follow us both on Instagram. Go ahead and click the share button. Click the share button on this podcast so all your family and friends can see it. It helps us out. The more eyes that we can get on our podcast, the more viewers we can get in here, is ultimately going to allow us to share value with more people who are interested in real estate, who haven't necessarily taken that leap yet, right? They're looking for a little bit more encouragement. And that's kind of why we did this. We want to be able to help those people take that first step. Call Magicians.
Call Magicians. And if you guys are if you guys want a JV a deal, or you need help and you're serious, feel free to reach out to us.
Yep.
But like, I don't waste your own time, man. If you're serious and you're really serious about doing this, feel free to reach out to us. Just know deals.
If you're serious, do not waste my time. Fucking married. I'm about to have 3 kids.
Who's that?
Yeah, we still live, baby. We still live. If you're looking to get access to pull lists, pull data, right? Analyze datas. There's nothing better out there than PropStream. Been using it for 3 years. I don't know what I would do without it. If you're looking for something like that, go ahead and DM me on Instagram. Shoot me a message on Facebook. I'll send you my link. That's going to get you 7 days free. And you ain't gonna leave after that, because I didn't. Ever.
OG Fish Room, use Batch Dialer. I switched. I got to make a video ad for that tonight. Batch Dialer is amazing, though. I love it. Thank you guys so much.
We should talk. Did we talk about dialers and stuff like that last week?
Yeah, we talked about dialers.
Okay.
Check out last week's podcast. And PropStream is the best. Thank you guys for the interaction. I love it.
We love it. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Sherry. Who else we had up there? Cletus.
Thanks, guys.
Lado.